Welcome to the Blue Dragon Guild hobby vlog number 15. According to my uploads, it has been 100 days since I have recorded anything, uploaded anything to the channel. With the last video, I was in the process of getting ready for Final Boss Con, getting ready for the games that I was running during that event. And I did a lot of stuff for that event. I 3D printed a bunch of stuff, came up with a intro quick adventure. And once I did all that, once we went through the event, I was tired and I didn't want to do anything. And after I was no longer tired, I simply just procrastinated and didn't really feel like doing much of anything. I say I didn't feel like doing much of anything. That doesn't mean I did nothing. I actually did a lot of hobby things. We've had 2 D&D games since then. I've painted some miniatures, gotten some different miniatures. So there's been a lot that's gone on. I just haven't felt like recording, haven't felt like editing anything. Here we are 100 days later and I'm ready to jump back into some things. So in our D&D game, I believe the last thing that I talked about on the channel was the group was they weren't taking a break, but they were going to do some research into the undead cult, and Dave and Tommy's character ended up meeting with a member of the local government to try and find a more permanent place of residence. They worked a deal to get this abandoned wizard's tower that needed a lot of work done in exchange for them going and dealing with some goblins that had been attacking the trade caravans coming in and out of the city. In our last session, and I just now realized that we have not had 2 games, we've had 1 game. So the group went off into the woods surrounding this city, and with a series of checks, they ended up finding where this goblin caravan, where these goblin raiders were held up. And it's worth noting that this session was the week after Final Boss Con, so Mackenzie, who runs the con, he was not in attendance because, quite frankly, he was still exhausted from that whole ordeal. So the group was Tommy, Walker, and Dave, the characters of Walker's character Ricky, the rogue, Tommy's character Krylon, Krylon's a fighter, and Sasava, Dave's character, the sorcerer. They went off in search of these goblins. They found them. I can't remember exactly if they were trying to sneak into the camp or what was the case, but essentially the goblins got alerted to them and then some combat ensued. Well, these goblins had a green dragon, a young green dragon, and some dragon wormlings with them. So they had to deal with dragons, goblins, and with the 3 of them together, it was a pretty close fight. They did have their bronze griffin, their figurine of wondrous power, so that definitely helped them in that battle. And that's kind of where we left off in that story. Mackenzie will be back at the next game. His character during that time was the one going and doing all this research on the cult. It's been a lot of fun, and it's kind of funny because we've been playing this game with these characters for quite a while. Looking at my notes just now, our very first game was May 7th, 2023. So we've been playing this game for 3 years. It's weird because right now I feel like everybody, like all the characters have kind of hit their stride. Everybody knows who their character is. And that makes sense when you only get to play once a month for a small amount of time. Yeah, where it's going to take a little bit of time for everybody to get their characters developed, but I'm really liking where the story is going, everything that the party's doing, and I think they're enjoying it as well. So on to some other things. Recently, I took a trip to Cincinnati with Mackenzie and another friend of ours named Steve. We went to go watch some AEW wrestling, and while we were out, we stopped at a couple different stores. We stopped at a hobby store, and I picked up some Vecna Eve of Ruin miniatures and got some pretty cool minis in there. We got a skeleton, a really cool Warforged. His face almost looks like the Star-Lord mask. We got a Kuatoa, which I had, I think, one other Kuatoa mini, and then an Ice Devil mini. At the time I pulled the Ice Devil, I was like, oh, this is great, I didn't have one of those. And then when I was putting it on my shelf, I found another one that was from the Avernus set. Also, I bought this booster brick of the Mordenkainen's Multiverse miniatures. It will have its own dedicated video opening all of the minis in that. Yesterday, Chris came over and we got some minis painted. Each of us painted 3 apiece. And I got this stone golem painted. I painted this treant, which I genuinely think turned out really, really well. Very happy with it. The one complaint I have is up in here and all those branches, really, really hard to paint. So if you get this mini, just be warned, it's hard in there. And then I painted this shambling mound. I did all the basing and stuff on it. I tried to make it look like, you know, here's all the gravel, the dirt and everything, and around it is all the grass where the shambling mound rose up out of the ground. Those are 3 monsters that I didn't have miniatures for previously. With the treant, I actually have 2 other treant minis. They're like the Blightwood something or other. I don't know what they're called. They're the Critical Role miniatures. We're just gonna go look. They are the Wraithroot miniatures. I think I talked about them previously. I've got 2 of them to paint up. I think that's it on the minis. If I have gotten more, I don't remember. As always, the room is a mess, but this time I have a good reason for it. I was moving things around in our house. We got some new bookshelves, so I migrated a bookshelf out there to in here and kind of stacked it, or put that bookshelf and then stacked this shelf on top of it to, you know, just create some more space for stuff and things. So things were kind of shuffled and moved all around with that. I just haven't put it all back together. So that's pretty much what I've been up to for the last 100 days or so, and now I'm just gonna try and get back into the grind of doing hobby stuff, hopefully at least once a week, and that's it. That's all I have to say in this video. So thank you everyone for watching, and until next time, keep the dice rolling.